Good morning, beautiful souls. It's soggy Ascension Friday and we've got a right hoolie blowing through the south of England at the moment, and there seems to be a little bit of window in the weather at the moment. Got my hat with me just in case it gets a bit funky again. But we'll see how we get on. Hope you've all enjoyed the week, a very intensive week. Wednesday night I was very blessed to share space with all of the lovely souls that attended the Soul Family workshop, and it seems to be a thing at the moment. So I'm gonna cover it a bit this morning. I'm going to talk about it. For those of you that weren't on the workshop, this is something that is coming through to me very strongly at the moment. It's been a pattern that I've been presented with on a regular basis since I actually started working in the Ascension field, doing this job, connecting with people, bringing through information, is the actual physical and mental, emotional and spiritual process that we go through when we begin to raise our vibration and step onto the Ascension pathway. And there may be many of you listening to this at the moment who will resonate with what I'm describing as I do so. Now, this didn't used to be so much of a pattern before 2012. It is something that began to occur with the second wave of soul wake-ups. The original wave of soul wake-ups, including me, were kind of known as the way showers. There's many different terms. It doesn't matter where you're from, you've probably got a different name for it. But they are kind of regarded as the souls that were awake kind of back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the year 2000 onwards, up until we hit the cosmic moment, the 21st of December 2012. And overnight, if you are new to the channel or you haven't heard me speak before, I regard the cosmic moment, that date, the 21st of December 2012, as the day and the night that the Earth changed. We moved from 3D into this 4D window that we're nearly smack bang in the middle of at the moment. And we got another 10 years of kind of like acclimatizing and shifting and moving all of the good things over into the fifth dimensional future that we are building together. This is, as you've heard me say before, this is the messy bit. This is the messy bit where all of the stuff that we don't need comes to the surface to be experienced, as we are very aware of at the moment. And once we've experienced it, once we've seen what it actually is, then we move on from it and we build from a better place. So what happened? What did I see happening from the cosmic moment onwards? There seemed to be an immediate pattern occurring from almost the new year, from 2013 onwards, that people that woke up or began to regard their spiritual pathway from that point onwards would have a profound effect on the people around them. And this is a scenario that is ongoing. It's coming in waves. It's coming with every single wave of soul wake-ups that's occurring. And there's been a big wave in the last year and a half. Between January 2020 and the winter solstice of that year, Archangel Metatron said that 2 billion people would have been awoken to their spiritual pathway. It doesn't mean that they necessarily identify with it and adopt that persona. It means that they get taken from one set of vibrational protocols into another, and that begins to change their circumstances and their surroundings. And the first thing that tends to occur when this happens is the personal vibration begins to rise. Now, this is happening to everybody on Earth at the moment, because it would be almost impossible to exist on Earth at the moment and not to experience a vibrational shift. Energy doesn't work like that. If you're living on a planet that rises in vibration, then you rise with it. Otherwise, you are no longer compatible with that environment. So, with these waves of pre-chosen soul wake-ups, and they're happening more and more quickly at the moment, what I began to see was, as soon as this soul adopted this new vibration, the parameters of their relationships with people began to change almost instantaneously. So it's almost like that immediate euphoric rush sometimes of the wake up, the discovery of this brand new world, the ascension pathway, the spiritual world, all of the gleaming shiny things that initially draw us in and attract our attention. And then inevitably the work would start, and the first part usually is the rearrangement of personal dynamics. Now that will occur in personal relationships, with siblings, with partnerships, work partnerships, friendship partnerships, marriages. And it was almost like there would be and I described it as this in the workshop, a controlled demolition of the old. And so this is happening in real time at the moment to a lot of people, and part of it is because of the circumstances that we're being presented with, the conflicts of reality. I see it this way, no, I see it that way, so therefore it is real. And so this is becoming very tangible at the moment, like this division in who can see and who cannot see. And inevitably this seems to be taking shape within people, in family units or partnerships, where one person can see clearly, the third eye is clear, the veil of amnesia or the fifth veil has removed itself, and the process of illumination has occurred, but the other person isn't, and they're very tuned into maybe the media narrative and what's going on, and kind of pulled in by the fear stories and everything else that we're kind of seeing people being suckered with on a continual basis. And so this scenario has repeated itself in various formats since 2013, but is accelerating massively now. And all of us that are here to serve, to bring this ascension process to fruition, are in one way or another experiencing a shift in these dynamics. And many experience it on a painful level, like you have had people around you that you are familiar with, you've got a solid friendship circle, maybe you've got a marriage that you thought would be absolutely watertight and solid forever, and all of the support you need, and all of a sudden you do what you consider to be the right thing, raise your vibration, and that everything around you just explodes, and these people drop away. And sometimes it is it is done in a way that is painful, because every single person experience rejection and change in whatever format will be hurt on some level. It depends on your level of personal illumination, how you are seeing it, whether you are expecting it, and how much you actually love yourself, as to whether that rejection actually takes a deep root. So what we were talking about in the workshop is the support that is now becoming available via our soul families, because in harmony with the wake up, we are almost now moving through this period of soul isolation, which is an initiation in its own right. So moving back to what happens when you raise your vibration, the familiar falls away from you, and you are left, for want of a better word, on your own. You might still be in a marriage or a partnership, but all of a sudden that partner doesn't understand you anymore. You're not talking the same language. You can't speak to your friends about what you're seeing, you're feeling, your understanding, and your new interests. So all of a sudden this isolation becomes very tangible, it becomes very real. You can no longer communicate, you no longer have that support that you had previously. And this is accelerating now. Okay, so a lot of you listening to this might be identifying this, you might be experiencing that soul isolation, that period of time where you are actually physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually completely on your own, or with very limited support. Or you might be surrounded by the people that you were surrounded with previously, and they are not clicking, they're not, it's the language has completely changed, the interests have completely changed. And what I'm being shown very clearly at the moment is the magnitude of the soul reconnections that we are, we're not experiencing now, we're going to be very shortly. The push by our monads or our monadic presences and our oversouls for our soul groups to connect with each other is now going to become a thing. Okay, this is why it's becoming information that I'm receiving, and probably other people who kind of translate the languages of the cosmos that are coming in. They will be receiving it, but obviously kind of presenting it through their own filter, through their own format. So I described in the workshop what a monad actually is, because obviously I mentioned I did the morning meditation, the monadic invocation. I am the monad, I am the light divine, I am love, I am will, I am fixed design. And then wound up being asked a lot of questions by those of you that hadn't heard those terms before. What is a monad? Okay, now a monad is a group consciousness. Each monad, and there are many, many of them, consists of 144 souls. 144. You will be one of those 144 souls. Okay, now each of those monadic group, each monad is then divided into 12 oversouls. So you get your monad, and you get 12 oversouls that are part of that monad, and then each oversoul has 12 soul personalities or soul extensions. So obviously, you know, the mathematicians amongst you will be able to work out that's 144 souls per monad. Now obviously we've got a lot of people on this planet. Okay, we've got nearly 8 billion, so that's a lot of monads all functioning. Now the beautiful part about it is each of the monads that are here, and you as a soul personality representing the oversoul of the monad, will be on a very similar trajectory to souls serving from other monads and other oversouls. So we're all here in soul alignment, and even though you might be surrounded by people that might not necessarily be of your soul group or your oversoul, you will be in soul alignment with others who are here on the same job, the same trajectory, and the same mission as you. That mission is unified, that mission that we are here to achieve, which is to bring Earth into a fifth dimensional frequency. You know, we wouldn't have all of these souls serving on planet Earth with different things to do. Although we've all got different skills and different unique talents that we're all bringing to the table, the unified focus of the collective is the same for the time being. Once we've achieved it, and once we've got that infrastructure, that light infrastructure in place around the planet, then obviously we can kind of toddle off and do our own different projects and build. We'll be building for centuries, and who knows where this is going to go, but this is the very beginning of it. This is the period of change. So for those of you at the moment out there, and my hand is again on my heart for all of you that are experiencing any painful circumstances within your family setups, your partnerships, your work, you're going through change. Okay, it's a physical change. It's not something that you're talking about, oh yeah, you know, bit of change occurring. This is actually happening in your reality around you now. The support is here. Okay, it might not be immediately available, or you might not be able to perceive it at this precise moment in time, but this soul family push is becoming very, very powerful. Okay, the resonance to draw us all together has gone out. The wave, or the chime, or the alarm bell to draw us all in is now pulsing around the planet. It's available, or the blueprint is available. I'm just going to put my hat on a sec, because I'm getting dripped on very thoroughly here. Sorted. So the blueprint, or the gold print, is now available via the navel chakra, which is below your solar plexus and just above your sacral, and the sacral chakra. So this is where the community gold print is located, in the navel, and obviously the sacral pertains to all of our relationships, or rather our higher relationships now. So your sacral will be doing the clearing. It will be basically clearing back through your timeline, your karmic lineage, and that includes your current family, to remove all of the, almost like the pre-life agreements that you came in to clear. And once that's done, once the slate is clean, once you have been through that kind of almost like that purging process, this is when the soul family connections start to become very, very strong. And you might have already experienced it. You've already connected to people around you and you recognize them. You don't know where you recognize them from. It might not be a physical recognition, but you know them. You've worked with them before. You can feel that heart-to-heart connection. You have similar interests when you are swapping information, stories, talking about the things that light you up. Your vibration rises, and when your vibration begins to rise, that's when all of the new information and the past life skills and gifts and talents begin to drop in. But the thing that I was looking at, and the thing that seems to be catching people out the most, is what I refer to as soul isolation. Now that can occur in between the constructive demolition of the previous and the meeting and the support of the soul family. And a lot of us are in soul isolation at the moment, many people. And it is, as we hear the word initiation, it's, oh God, not another one. You know what I mean? How many more am I going to have to go through? An initiation, although it is challenging and painful, eventually it will leave you stronger. On the other side of it, you can cope with circumstances and energies that you couldn't do so before. And the purpose of the soul isolation is to bring you into a position of self-mastery. I've been through it. Many others around me have been through it. You've probably been through it in one way or another, or you might well be experiencing it now. And on the other side of it, that is all of a sudden the support will appear. It's almost like the guides suddenly start to come back again, but at a higher level. The angels, the ascended masters, the dragons, the unicorns, the higher galactics, they never went anywhere, but they will stand back for a little bit and they will watch how you cope with this new independence that you have been gifted with. So it's a tough one to go through. It is tough, it is challenging, and it's also one of the most human things that we ever have to deal with is the process of rejection. You know, why don't these people resonate with me anymore? What have I done wrong? And that is a question that practically every single light worker on this planet will ask at one point or another when making this transition. Some of you may be very blessed to have people around you that are growing with you. Okay, as you grow, they grow, and you all grow as a harmonious unit. But on the other side of it, there are many of us who at one stage or another will simply just have the old fall away. Okay, so when it does occur, just be aware that it is nothing that you have done wrong. Okay, many of us immediately go like, it's called like I call it I am a bad light worker syndrome, or little me syndrome. It's just like, you know, how could I be taking on this role, this planetary role, this ascension role, this spiritual role, to only be completely rejected by the people that I thought were there for me? So just roll with it. We know what you're going through. On a soul level, you will know what you're going through, and the period of this soul isolation will reflect the level of resistance that an individual, or you or I, has to it at that particular time. It's a process. So it can either last for, you know, I've seen it last a couple of days in some circumstances with the people that are moving very quickly, or it can go on for quite a considerable length of time. I think the longest one that I've ever seen went on for a couple of years, and by the end of it, it's almost like you come out, the individual, the soul comes out of the cave, and it's like, I am so strong, I can deal with anything now. And that period of internalization, that self-processing, builds from the foundations up a very, very strong unit, an individual, a soul personality who is ready to go out and do the job that they have incarnated to do. So that is it this morning. That is what I'm looking at, that's what I'm feeling is coming up very powerfully for us. We've got these incredible changes going around us on the planet. Okay, those very intensive kind of tantrums from the third dimensional matrix, and they are tantrums, okay? We can see them in the news if you happen to be privy to what's going on in the news. You can see the changes that are occurring. You can see them attempting to throw more restrictions into the mix in order to contain this incredible wildfire of ascension awakenings around the planet. But it is only noise. It is only something that becomes part of our reality if we are hooked into it and engaged with it and are being affected with it. And that is, again, part of this process is unhooking from that old form of reality and reforming these new bonds, these new connections, these new units, these unities amongst like-minded souls. And even if you feel, and another illusion of the soul isolation is that there aren't many of us out there. Okay, you can be stuck in the soul isolation period thinking to yourself, well, I am truly on my own. I am the only person who thinks like this. God help us all. And in actual fact, you're not. Might have been the case 15 years ago, but now there are literally billions of people who are now gravitating into this wave of ascension that is coursing around the planet. Okay, so onwards and upwards. We're going to be, by the time when I record my Monday video, it will be the 1st of November. We'll be launching into the new month. Got some lovely events and workshops coming up, and there is going to be a slight change to the days that I deliver my videos during the second week of November onwards. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that on Monday morning. So I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Sending you all loads of love from my heart to yours. See you soon. Bye for now.